Hello, 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 and welcome to day 6, our final day of the All Things Relationships Virtual Summit. I am your host, Mo James, founder of the Confetti Collective and 1/3 of the Relationship Influencers. We are a collaborative trio of business owners on a joint mission to improve relationships while also boosting or improving business bottom line results. So we are kicking today off with somebody that I am blessed to call friend, Miss Chaute Thompson. Chaute, thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
This is going to be good.
Yes.
I'm already claiming it. I'm putting it out there. It's going to be good. I'm excited. All right. So for those of you that are new that have never met Chaute before, Chaute Thompson is a licensed clinician, speaker, author, consultant, educator, restoration expert, and certified family mediator. Ms. Thompson offers life-changing strategies, empowerment, personal development, mental and emotional health messages to schools, churches, conferences, workshops, and seminars. She's passionate about helping others grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually into the best version of themselves. Ms. Thompson is the owner of Inspiring Hope Counseling Services, a private practice in Florida which focuses on helping all families strengthen their family unit, helping them to become healthier and happier. She specializes in working with families of divorce to transition smoothly. Ms. Thompson is the founder of Brand New Me, LLC. Brand New Me focuses on providing resources, education, empowerment, enabling women to rediscover and redefine themselves, growing past the pain of divorce and life-changing events, adjusting to numerous transitions, and becoming whole and living happier and healthier lives. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is everything that you need to know about Miss Chaute Thompson. But I know she's got some great content for you all for this first session of our final day. So Chaute, the floor is now yours.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am Chaute Thompson. Super excited to be here with you today. And because I know that my time is limited, I'm going to jump right in. Okay, so there's 3 things that we're going to cover today. The first, we're going to cover steps to restoring emotional wellness after a breakup. We are going to cover skills needed to build a healthy relationship with yourself and with others. And then we are going to cover how to be open to being your authentic self post-divorce. Okay, so first things first, steps to restoring emotional wellness after a breakup. So first things first, when that happens, we need to have a strong support system. All right, so developing a strong support system, and this can be from family, it can be from friends, it can be your church family, therapy, or support groups. Okay, so if you don't have any of these, you can research support groups, you can look for a church family, and then you can think about family members or friends that you know have shown up for you that you can start to build relationships with and accept their support. Because support's going to make a major difference when you have experienced anything traumatic. And a breakup is traumatic, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is allow yourself to grieve. All right, so the 5 steps of grief definitely fits for a breakup. All right, so just quickly going through them, those 5 stages are denial, bargaining, anger, sadness, and acceptance. So denial means that your body's protecting yourself. You're not ready to deal with the reality of what is. So that's what's taking place when you are going through denial. Afterwards, it's going to be bargaining. You're going to think about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, trying to think about how the outcome could have been different. And you're kind of battling with yourself, thinking about all the different things that you could have done differently. Then it's anger. Anger is where it's settling in and you're upset. You're either upset with this individual, you're upset with the family, or you're simply just easily irritated because of all the different things that's going on in your mind and in your heart. Okay, so that's anger. Then there's sadness. Sadness means now you are coming to terms with what is, and it sucks. it hurts. It doesn't feel good, right? So now you are actually experiencing sadness. And then last, and acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean that you're necessarily okay with it, but it means that now you're coming to terms with what reality is and moving forward to grow and be your best self. So you're going to go through these stages. You're going to have triggers that take place to bring you back and forth between all of them, but it's going to help you to get to that emotional wellness where you need to be. So it's important that you allow yourself to grieve. All right. And then next is rediscovering yourself, taking the time to figure out your likes and your dislikes. So many times when I sit down with clients and I ask them, okay, so who are you? Many times they sit and they share with me, they really don't know. They don't know who they are outside of being a parent, outside of being a spouse, outside of all the different things that they do. They really have no clue as to who they are anymore. So this is where it's time to try new things, venture out, read books, do some therapy, do the work to really figure out who you are. And that's going to help you to restore your emotional wellness. And then last is forgiving yourself and forgiving your ex, even without the apology. Sounds pretty weird. Yes, I know, but it can be done, right? So the first thing to be able to do this is to release. Release is to feel the pain. Don't bottle it up, because if you bottle it up, it's going to hurt you physically and emotionally. So allow yourself to feel the pain. After you allow yourself to feel the pain, now it's time for you to reflect, understanding from the other person's perspective. Right? When we take the time to consider what they have the capacity to really do and not do, what have they experienced in their lives, what's their history, their background, their interactions that they have had, what are they truly capable of doing, right? And when we take all of these things into consideration, we have a better chance of understanding where they're coming from. It doesn't excuse it. It doesn't make it better, but it helps us to understand a bit more. Okay? And when we do that and we reflect on our own role in the demise or in the different things that went wrong in the relationship, we reflect on all of those things to help us to start this forgiveness process, right? And after we do that, now it's time to remove the fantasy. What I mean by that is let go of how you envision the outcome to be. Don't be so invested in how you feel it ought to have been that you aren't able to accept the fact of how it truly is. Okay, so when you do that, now you're going to have your aha moment, right? Because so many times we're holding on to what we want so bad that we're not letting go and allowing it to be, because we have this fantasy of what we truly wanted. So to be able to forgive, we have to let go of that. All right. And then last, consider your own health. Holding on to grudges, it's going to hurt you physically and emotionally, right? You're going to feel it in your body. It's going to show up in some type of way. So we have to let go to be able to heal and be okay with self. All right. So to be able to grow, you have to analyze what you have learned about yourself, your values, your standards, and your beliefs to be able to now take lessons from it, take time to appreciate your lessons and celebrate that. Celebrate you. All right. And all of that is going to bring you to a place of emotional wellness. All right. Now, after we do all of that, now it's time to think about skills needed to build healthy relationships with ourselves and with others. What does that even look like? So to start, we have to listen to our sixth sense, right? Listen to our gut. Our gut talks to us on a regular basis, and many times we're not listening to it the way that we should. So listen to your sixth sense. And in doing that, you're going to be able to pay attention to red flags and get to know the person that's right in front of you. Not the potential of who they can be, but actually paying attention to who they truly are. All right. Now, every relationship has risks. There is high risk, moderate risk, or low risk. And when we pay attention to what we're seeing, in order to have that healthy relationship, we have to take note of what the risk is, right? So we have to pay attention to that risk in getting to know ourselves and taking time to get to know others. So I developed something called a relationship risk assessment. And I want you to take note. I'm only going to read a couple of the questions from it, but I want you to think about your relationships as I'm asking these questions. Think about a relationship that you're getting into, like someone you're getting to know right now, or think about a marriage or relationship that you're already in, or someone that you'd like to get to know when you're taking the time to really get to know them. Okay, so if your answer is unknown, where you really don't know yet, then your score is a 3, or your answer is a 3 for that question. If it's a no, then your answer is 2. And if it's a yes, your answer is a 1. Okay, so as I ask these questions, you're going to have a sheet of paper. Oh, if you don't have one, get some paper, get a pen, get a pencil, something, because we're going to have some interaction here. Okay, so first things first. The first question is, do you know who you are? Are you aware of your lessons learned, your values, your needs, and your boundaries? So if you've taken the time to really take note of what you've learned from all of your experiences, what your values are you incorporating boundaries, meaning holding everyone accountable to your boundaries, right? And taking note of your belief systems, your needs, all of that. If it is, then your answer is a yes, it's 1. Okay, if you're not sure of all of that, then it's a 3. Okay, and if it's just a plain out no, then it's a 2. Okay, next question. Do you confront any red flags that your partner demonstrates? And are you content with how he or she addresses them? Now, this one can get tricky, right? Because many times we have the conversation. We talk about the red flags. We talk about the things that we're not happy with. But after talking about it, then what? Is are everything happening to be able to get better? Are both parties doing what's necessary to compromise, get to a place that everyone feels content and happy? Or are we sweeping it under the rug? It's something that was spoken about. Nothing's changing, and it just is. Right? So if you are content after having the discussions about red flags, about things that you're not very happy about, then it's a yes. And if not, it's either a no or an unknown. Okay? Has your partner revealed past emotional scars, and have they done any work to heal? Okay? So have you spoken about hurts and past relationships? And after speaking about them, have you spoken about what you each learned from it and how you're going to move differently, or what you need in this present relationship or interaction after what you have experienced? Have those conversations been had? Or is it basically it's the past, it doesn't matter? Right? We need to make sure that we're having these conversations and we're sharing ourselves with our people that we really want to grow with. All right. Finances. Are you both compatible and on the same page when it concerns money mindset and handling of finances? Have you spoken about what that even means and what that looks like? If it's a no, because you're not there yet, then it's a no, right? Which is going to be the score for 2 there. Okay? Spirituality. Are your relationship and thought processes aligned regarding God or your belief systems? And then last question here is, do you feel secure in your knowledge of who you of who your partner is, and that they have displayed behavior consistently with who they say they are. Let me read that one again because that one's really powerful. Do you feel secure in your knowledge of who your partner is and that they have displayed behavior consistently with who they say they are? So are the patterns of behavior that you're seeing, are they aligned with who your partner says that they are? Who they are, and is everything lining up? Are you happy? Are you content with what you're receiving, with what's happening in the relationship, and with how each of you are showing up? All right, because many times someone can say that they're caring and considerate, but when you have a really hard day, they're not even asking you what's wrong or what's going on with you, right? So we need to make sure that they're showing up consistently with who they say they are and that we're paying attention. Right? So that's just a little glimpse of the relationship risk assessment. And all of that plays a role in having a healthy relationship with yourself and with those that you care about, that those that you have relationship with. All right? Now, how to be open to being your authentic self post-divorce. Now, to be able to be your authentic self post-divorce, we have to consider first our fears, right? And when we take the time to consider our fears and conquer our fears, it's going to help us to show up authentically. Okay, so first, the activity that I have for you is I want you to imagine yourself sitting in the middle of what you are most scared to step out on faith about. All right, imagine yourself sitting in the middle of what you are most scared to step out on faith about. Now, I want you to imagine yourself with the most beautiful outcome. How does it taste? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? So take a moment and think about what you are most scared of stepping out on faith about, and then imagine yourself with the most beautiful outcome. And take note of what it feels like, tastes, smell, and looks like, and jot that down. Jot it down as to what this would be like if you had the most beautiful outcome, right? Now, every opportunity opens the door to new possibilities, be it a new you, security in being alone, new friendships, new interests, or new jobs. Each of these are a step closer to freedom. You are captive to fear and the unknown until you realize there's more to life that needs to be discovered. So, in what ways will you step outside of your comfort zone? What fear are you going to challenge? Jot that down for me. In what ways will you step outside of your comfort zone? What fear are you going to challenge? Okay, as you jot that down, I want you to, I'm going to give you a second to jot that down instead of moving so fast ahead. So take a moment and jot that down, okay? Now I want you to take a moment and look in the mirror of your life. Document how you can grow. What lessons can you take from your experiences, from your poor choices, from your negative experiences? And then we're going to shift your focus from your hurts to your lessons, right? So take a moment and think about 3 hurts that you have experienced in your life, 3 poor choices, 3 negatives that has happened, right? And after you think about these 3 things, now next to them, I want you to jot down the lesson that you learned from it. What did you learn? For example, if you experienced someone ghosting you, someone not showing up for you the way that in the beginning they were showing up, and you continue to call them and not hear from them, and that did not feel very good. It was a negative experience. Now from that, what lesson did you learn? Instead of focusing now on the fact that you were ghosted or the fact that it didn't feel good, now you can focus on, you learned that it wasn't you, it was them. right? You learn that they were not showing up, but you actually did nothing wrong. So you can take comfort in knowing that you showed up, you were your best self, and you did nothing wrong. So you are going to not force yourself into anyone's life. If they don't want to be there, you're going to allow them to go. All right. So we all can take lessons from everything that we experience. So what lessons can you take from what you have gone through? Now, we are perfectly imperfect people, right? We all have flaws. We either see them as weaknesses or we want to improve and make them parts of ourselves that we accept, right? So if you want to improve, do the work to improve. That means going to therapy, watching YouTube videos, getting a mentor, getting into some type of class, doing something to be able to grow and not hold on to this weakness that you currently have, right? So I want you to name weaknesses or flaws that you want to improve Okay, so think about 2 to 3 things about yourself that you truly want to improve. Now, how will you begin to do this work to really start to improve? What type of research do you need to do, or memberships, classes you need to actually join, right? Do you need to join a gym, right? What do you need to do? What type of work are you going to do to be able to not have this weakness because you want to improve it? So jot that down. And then now, after we focused on what we're going to improve about ourselves, now it's time to think about the things that are just truly a part of who we are, right? So accepting flaws about oneself means that there's no shame or guilt around it. You are able to be content with it, and anyone who enters your world will need to be content with it as well, because it's a part of the package of you. Okay, so you acknowledge that this might not be a wonderful thing, but you accept that it is part of what makes you unique. Okay, so what are weaknesses or flaws that you accept about yourself? Think about 2 or 3 things, weaknesses or flaws that you accept about yourself. If anyone cares to share anything, please put it in the comments there. Or if you have any questions as we're going through this, please don't hesitate to ask. Now, many times we lose ourselves in the role of being a spouse or significant other, of being a parent, being an employee, or being a business owner, to the point to where we lose focus of who we are at the core. Okay, so we become that which we are doing instead of knowing ourselves at the core. So it's time for us to challenge ourselves to journey towards being our authentic selves, not focusing on being accepted. Instead, test the theory that people will accept you for who you are, right? Test the theory that people will accept you for who you are. So to be able to do that, we have a couple of questions that I really want you to focus on that's going to help you to get to the bottom of being your authentic self and showing up post-divorce authentically. All right? So first things first, I want you to think about your childhood, your teenage years, and early adulthood. Who were you? Were you shy? Were you outgoing? Who were you back when you were very, very young? Okay? And then now I want you to think about your past self, and what about your past self do you miss? Also, what about your past self are you happy that you have grown from, right? Because we're not the people that we used to be. So what about yourself do you miss? And what about yourself are you happy that it's no longer a part of who you are now, that you've grown from that? Now, what have you suppressed about your present self? How have you neglected your present self? And what do you need to embrace about your present self? There's many things that we're pushing down to the bottom and we're not accepting about ourselves. So what do we need to do differently? What do we need to accept about ourselves? What are we pushing down and neglecting? And then now I want you to think about, have you hid parts of yourself for lack of acceptance? If so, what parts? What parts of you have you been scared that people are not going to accept, so you've hidden those parts of you? Now, in what ways will you challenge yourself to be authentic regardless of being accepted? What parts are you going to challenge yourself to be authentic with regardless of being accepted? When we start to have those aha moments and we're really reflecting on who we currently are and who we really want to be and how we want to show up, it's going to make a world of a difference with how we interact with others, okay? And what is really given, like received as people interact with us, all right? Now, last thing is we need to be able to be assertive and not aggressive. We need to be able to speak up for ourselves in a loving tone, right? Assertive means that, assertiveness, according to the dictionary, tells us that it's behaving confidently and being able to stay in a direct and to say in a direct way what we want and what we believe, right? While aggressive is doing so in a strong and forceful manner. So to be able to be assertive, it's knowing your boundaries, knowing your values, knowing what you stand for, and holding others accountable, but doing so in a loving tone. So as I wrote in my first book, Brand New Me, The Pursuit of Wholeness, to be able to live unapologetically is not an obnoxious way of living. All right, what it is, it's empowering. It is a place where we are able to embrace who we are at the core and being assertive enough to live authentically in our truth. Okay, so it's where you're able to be humbly, unapologetically you. Okay, so I hope that all of these different steps, you can find everything in my book, Brand New Me, Complemented, Completed, and Whole, because that's where I took all of these activities from. Okay, but this is where you're going to be able to dig deeper to become your best self post-divorce.
Chaute, this was good. The first thing while we got time, the first thing I want to call out that you did in all of these steps, restore, redefine, renew, it starts with us, right? So you called out and you stated that a part of that process, especially if it's divorce or I'm going to use this word because you use the word to make me think about the death of a relationship. Two things, giving yourself time to grieve, just like you would grieve the death of anything else, and then forgiving yourself and your ex without requiring the apology.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of us, especially women, we walk around and we're like, I am not going to forgive so-and-so but until they apologize to me. But some of those people they have gone on and lived their lives, and you still walking around here waiting for something.
Yeah.
And because you're waiting on it, it's keeping you bound. It's keeping you from getting to the next level, getting to the next relationship, discovering the next version of who you are, because you're holding on, waiting for something that you might never get.
Exactly.
This was so good. And I love the relationship risk assessment and kind of really simplifying, because when you think, okay, it's either yes, no, or unknown. There's no room for see what had happened was. It's yes, no, or I don't know. And tell the truth about it. Tell the truth.
So there's actually 20 questions in that relationship risk assessment, but it's going to help you to really dig deep And afterwards, it's going to tell you. It's going to tell you if you are a high risk, moderate risk, or low risk with this individual that you're doing this relationship risk assessment for.
Wow. It takes, I love that. It takes the emotion out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for those of us that are led by our emotions for good and bad.
Yeah.
It's objective.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to be able to see our partner, see ourselves objectively, because that's where the truth is.
Exactly.
It's when we get caught up in emotion that we end up telling ourselves stories that may or may not be true.
Mm-hmm.
So this was really good, Chaute. Thank you so very much. So for the people that are watching, that want to know where they can find you online, where they can get the book, where they can learn more about Brand New Me Journey and your practice, where can they go?
Definitely. To purchase the book, you can go to bit.ly. So bit.ly, that / I believe it is, and it's BNM Bookstore. BNM Bookstore. It stands for Brand New Me Bookstore. Okay, so bit.ly / BNM Bookstore. You can also go to my website, brandnewmejourney.com, and you can find me on Instagram at Chaute Thompson. You can find me on Facebook. I have a Brand New Me Journey community where we definitely give that support to each other. I give free content to everyone, and we're able to really do the work to grow. And then I also have a Facebook page, Chaute Thompson LMHC, which is the Chaute Thompson. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Chaute. Thank you for being here, for sharing your knowledge and expertise with our audience. Thank you for saying yes, for participating in this summit in the first place. We are so grateful to have you and the blessing of your expertise. There are a lot of couples out here, a lot of women and men trying to figure out how to recover from divorce or the ending of their, relationship. So this conversation definitely is necessary.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy that I'm able to be here. So I'm excited about that.
Thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you later.
Yes, for sure. Definitely.
All right. Links are posted here in the chat for anybody that's watching. Chaute, brandnewmejourney.com, and then bit.ly BNM Bookstore. So get the information, get the book. Thanks, Chaute, again. We so appreciate you.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.